curated to switch the narrative, to show that it's never too late to shift your mindset, heal your heart, and live the life that you truly desire. Sis, you are magic. You just haven't discovered it yet. But in order to get to the goal, you have to do a little bit of digging, getting through all the hard stuff to allow your true self to shine. Because yes, you are beautiful. But how is your soul really feeling? Are you fine on the inside? Hey y'all, this your girl Jazz, and welcome to Fine on the Inside. I am here with my girl Anya. Anya, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
No problem, guys. Anya is a hypnosis healer. She does past life regression, angelic reiki, and just a whole bunch of stuff. So she's so dope, y'all.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No problem. So I just want to give you your flowers because, like I was just telling you, y'all, she had this event last month, and like I just got like so much confirmation, and like when I left, like I felt like almost like a whole new person. Like I was like, dang, like I felt like God was really like talking to me as like we were doing like the hypnosis, and you know, I just felt so good. Like the whole time I was like, damn, like I really needed this.
Yes. That's the point. I wanted to bring everyone together so they can start to experience this. Because when people think of hypnosis, they're like, oh, y'all think of get out. Like, you know, you stuck and you can't move. And I'm like, it's not that at all.
Yeah.
It's literally like a cheat code to getting to your deepest passion, like your deepest desires.
Yeah.
Connecting straight with your higher self and God. So,
yeah.
I'm glad you came. Thank you.
Yes, I'm glad I came too. I needed that. All right, so usually how I start off the podcast, I start with some icebreakers, and then we just go into talking and stuff like that. Okay. All right.
Yes.
So the first one is, what is your favorite way to relax and recharge after a transformative session with a client?
So after the session with the client, it's like I'm like channeling. So I'm often trying to just ground and get back into my body. So of course I drink my coconut water. And then I try to go outside, lay in the grass, or put my feet in the grass, take some deep breaths. You know, definitely journal, write down anything that came up, because just as you're healing, I'm healing too.
Yeah.
You get downloads, I get downloads. So I love to do it because I get more from it each time, and I get more and more connected to my purpose and passion. So really just grounding, eating something like warm, this grounding practices, eating something warm, drinking coconut water, or just like soup, anything that will get me into my body and feeling like good.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. So it can really like take a lot.
It does take a lot, because I'm not just focused on like, oh, your subconscious mind, I'm going into your mind. It's really quantum healing. So I'm really going into the spiritual realms. We're going, like, sources coming in, the angels are coming in, my higher self is coming in, and we're connecting. My higher self's connecting with your higher self, and we're literally going into the quantum realms together.
Yeah, okay.
So like
you're walking us in.
Exactly.
Okay,
no,
yeah.
like literally, like you're in whatever you're in, and I can kind of envision and imagine where you are, and can kind of see certain things. Like with certain sessions, I'll be like, what's that in your hand? Like I can see something in your hand, and you're like, oh, and I'm like, is that a rosary? And you're like, yeah, it is a rosary, you know. And you like, and I'm like, it's black. You're like, it's black, yeah. And I'm like, oh, and it surprises me just as much as it surprises you, because each session is different, and I can connect in a different way. So when you're in hypnosis, I'm in hypnosis. So it's definitely an outer body experience.
Wow. Yeah, that's decent. All right, so if you could witness or experience one of your past lives, which one would you be most curious about, and why?
So I've experienced past lives, but they'll show me like little snippets of certain ones. But I would like to explore more the past life. I have been told I've been like Kuan Yin. I don't know who that is. Like, she's like the goddess of compassion. And I would really be interested in looking at that life. Like looking at how she, like her whole entire story. Because her story is very connected to mine. So when I heard it, I was like, whoa, wait. That makes total sense. Like, even if you ever look at Kuan Yin is a Chinese goddess, Japanese Chinese goddess, and she has 2 kids on the side of her at all times, a boy and a girl. That's just like me, my kids.
Yeah.
And she's the goddess of compassion and love, and like that's literally how I started in my journey, is with forgiveness and compassion and love. And even with throughout my life, I've always had great empathy for people,
Yeah.
great compassion. So I was like, oh, this makes total sense.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, I took like one of those chakra tests, and they were like, your heart is way too open, and I was like, your heart can't be too open.
Right.
It's not impossible. And it's like, it's possible.
Right.
Ground it out, get down
Right.
there. So yes, that's the life I would like to see.
Okay, I love that. I have to look more into Anya because I don't know too much about her.
I
but-
didn't know about her either, but when I was training to do the quantum healing I do, it's called Hypnosis Healing by Rising Phoenix Aurora. So when I first started doing it, one of the practitioners was, did me first, and she told me and was like, oh, this is what I saw, this is what what I see, and I was like, oh, okay, and then I looked it up and I was like, that makes perfect
yeah, that
sense.
makes
Yeah.
sense. All right. So I just wanted to see if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into hypnosis and healing, and how does it help individuals heal deep-seated trauma, including generational wounds or past life experience, and how have these tools helped you, and how do you apply them to yourself?
That is a loaded
That's
question.
a lot.
That's a lot of stuff, guys. We'll be here all day. So part 2 is no. So the first thing is how I got into what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I believed in a series of awakenings. I feel like you have one in a certain way, then it goes to another one, and then you get just this deepening and deepening and deepening in your practice. So the second one, I won't go to the first one, but the second one was my partner, Dennis Yoki-Den, he had 2 friends that were really close to us, like family. They passed tragically. So when they did, and right after another, so say his one friend was his brother, our brother was murdered in December, and then a female, one of his closest childhood friends, murdered in that February. It was back to back.
Oh my God, that's so crazy because I've had a similar experience. But sorry, go ahead.
No, and it was tragic.
Wow.
I don't want to get into details, but and when it happened, we were engaged and we were happy and stuff, and he was trying to decide who's gonna be my best man. Is it gonna be this childhood friend or this childhood friend? I was like, you got to, it's fine. And then he got murdered, and it was so tragic. It was so unexpected, and he really beat himself up about it a lot. And watching him go through that, I loved him too.
Mm-hmm.
And then watching him, then actually watching him, this is his childhood, they grew up together, and it felt, I was just this doesn't feel right. Why would God do this? And I'm your religion, and I'm they say stuff oh, it's all meant to be, and what? That doesn't, it's not sitting right with me. Something doesn't make sense. So I started looking for deeper things. I'm we have to look at different, I went to a Catholic school, I was raised Christian all my life, and I was just we went to church all the time and stuff, and I just was I don't feel, this don't feel right. Something feels it's missing. We should probably look into different things and just see, because I feel it's not, he's just going, he's can't even talk really. And I said that, but I didn't do anything. I was just whatever, live my life. At that point in time, I was a real estate agent, which I still have my license, but I was a real estate agent. I was driving around the city, and I was listening to Audible, and because when you're an entrepreneur, you have to listen to mindset books and different things to keep yourself motivated to go, because it's really hard and it's tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough industry to be in. So I'm listening to books Go for No, Never Split the Difference, all salesy books, real estate books, Start with Why, all those types of books. And then my Audible suggested to me Journey of Souls. How?
Right.
I'm really big on signs. When God sends me signs, I listen.
Yeah.
And I was okay, You know, I did say something about like, you know, looking into different types of, you know, avenues for religions or whatever. So I started listening to it, and it changed my whole outlook on life.
Wow.
Like my whole outlook on life. So the book is called Journey of Souls, and it's by Michael Newton. I suggest everybody read it. I always tell everybody go read it.
I gotta read it.
And I'm not sure exactly what the story is, but I'm just gonna give you a for instance of what happened. So he's an atheist. He doesn't believe in anything. The guy, he's a hypnotherapist. But his hypnotherapy is, I just take you to your childhood. You're scared of spiders? Okay, I'll take you to the moment in which you were, when you were in a childhood and you saw your first spider, and that way we can heal that root cause and then we can move on, right? Which is great. Hypnotherapy is perfect. So a guy came in and was like, hey, I need, you know, to find my root cause of my drinking. Like, I don't, you know, and again, this story may be, it's somewhere in there and I might mix it up, but this is what the gist of it is. So he's like, hey, I want to find out my root cause of my drinking, whatever. He's like, okay, take some under. He starts talking like a woman in the 1920s. He's like, what year is it? Oh, I don't know, like prohibition, like, you know, in the 1920s. Like describing it historically accurate and talking about it from a woman's point of view, like a teenage woman's point of view.
Wow.
And talking about this guy she was going to meet, and you know what I mean, and then they went for a drive, and then they drove off a cliff, and they left their body before they got into the water. The soul left the body before they got into the water. And then she's describing it. You know, the guys, you know, when you're in hypnotherapy, you don't just be like, oh, wait a minute, what is that? Like, you just flow through it. You flow with it, and you're just like, okay, tell me what happens next. So he's describing the scene of how, you know, a loved one came to greet him, maybe like a grandmother, a mom, whoever, and how then he went into the council to talk to his team, and he was like, you did so great, yay, like, you know, and I'm just like, what is this, you know, and they're like, okay, and they move on to like going through this energetic shower to like cleanse them and clear them of like dark energies and stuff, whatever. And then he keeps moving forward, and then he goes and sees his soul family, and it's, you know, the people that he was on earth with then and now, and they're up there and they're like, all right, you did so good, and everyone's so happy to see him. And so I was like, whoa, that one point right there was so powerful for me. And I was just like, whoa, wait a minute. First of all, wait a minute. When I died, the people that, like, everyone I love that's down there is up there too already. And they're like, that's what it is. And I was like, oh my God, that's so great. But then that's great, right? So you have one person to have that experience. And then he had another person have that experience. And then another person have that experience.
Wow.
And then he's like, you know, now he's starting to get his scripts around, like seeing where they go after, you know, taking them to a past life, and then taking them to what's going to happen next, and then next, and then the energetic shower, and then where they go, to the point where now he's going through this spirit school, and he's showing how people choose their lives, and how they choose the people that they're coming here to be with, and how they choose the lessons that they're coming here to learn, all to evolve closer to God's source.
Wow.
And I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I need to do this. And then once I did it for myself, you know, I found out what my purpose was, and I found out, you know, what I'm supposed to be doing, and my spirit guides that were with me, and it just gave me a new outlook on life. Like, I have work to do, and I need to do this. And not only this, if everybody knew that this was a school and they were here to learn certain things, how would they move?
Right. Oh, yeah.
You know you're here for a purpose. You know you're here for a reason.
Right.
You would look at it like, okay, what is, every situation you're in, you would look at it as, what is this trying to teach me?
Yeah, like going about it more intentional.
Exactly.
Yeah, wow. I feel like so many of us are in like the, oh, we gotta do so much of like the making money, and you know, we completely disregard like what we're here to learn, what lessons, you know what I mean, all that. Like, we just bypass it.
All distractions, like,
Yeah.
and it's hard because that's not how it was designed to be. You know, it wasn't designed for you to be here to work to die. Like, that's not what it is. And that's why a lot of people are recycling and just coming back and not even like going up there to talk to talk to your guides and you're just here. It's like it's like we're stuck. Like a lot of people are stuck because they're so dense and so dark, and they're not taking the time to get to know who they are, and taking the time to start to release those energies and start to get into forgiveness and start to raise their vibrations. Because the denser and denser you are, like, you can't, like, you're not going to ascend. You really have to learn these lessons in order to ascend out.
And it's crazy because I feel like for some people it just doesn't like click. You know what I mean? Like I know like even like older people who just wouldn't even think or, you know, grasp the idea that there's this whole other like dimension, you know what I mean? Like to them that was like, oh, that's crazy, or like, you know what I mean? So it's just wild. So do you think it's like what you said, like they're gonna just keep, you know, going through that same thing until it does click?
I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, time is not, time is not real. We always say that. Everybody in spiritual community is like, time is not real, and you don't really know how it works, right? And you're just like, okay,
right.
It's 2:00. Time's obviously real, and you're like, yeah, okay, but and we would have to go into a whole nother topic to even talk about time and timelines and stuff. But everybody's soul is at a different level. So even in his book, he talks about that. Like, there's different levels to different souls. So say my color is blue and your color is orange, and someone colors white and that person's is purple or whatever. That would indicate where you are in your evolution of a light, of a soul. So like maybe the baby ones, and again I haven't read it in a long time, but let's say the baby ones are yellow, and then like they elevate to orange and red, and and then like maybe not the most elevated, but the more elevated ones are purple and blue. Like your glass is like almost like a deeper, like an indigo kind of color, and like just like the chakras, right? Like, and let's say it's like that, and maybe that old person, they're older than you in this lifetime, but they could be a newer soul. So they're not going to understand it. You take your soul and your energy remembers everything. Everything. So there's young people that'll be like, wait, this doesn't feel right. Something's not right. And you know it because you've been here before numerous times. And now this life, you were like, I'm waking up this life. I don't care what happens. So now you're doing a bunch of spiritual stuff. You're going to yoga. You're doing different things to try to find yourself, because you know for a fact that there's something deeper. But you just don't know. You just can't put your finger on it. And then there's some people just like, I don't care about any of that. It doesn't matter. La 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 la. And those are the babies. Those are the baby souls, and they're still here to learn. But we don't interrupt anyone's process, because they set up their life and they designed it exactly how they're supposed to in order for them to get to that level. So they got a lot of stuff they got to go through. Maybe they have to go through a lot of breakups. Maybe they have to go through a lot more challenges in life. And unfortunately, the collective has chosen for us to go through like very, very harmful challenges in order to get these life experiences, to get that knowledge. And we, for some reason, we have to feel pain in order to move or act on something. I would love it to be just pleasure, and we're like, oh yes, I can learn that like that. But no, we can't. We have to learn through pain. So a lot of older people have gone through a lot of pain, and you can look at it in two ways. You can take a lot of pain, and then you can get to that breaking point where you break down, and you you start looking for yourself, and you start looking for God, and then that's when you start to find yourself. Or you go through that breakdown, and then you just crumble. So but they'll get it next lifetime. Hopefully.
It's crazy that you said about the colors, because like when we were doing like the hypnosis, I kept seeing like this dark like purpley color, and I'm like, I don't know, it was just like, I don't usually, when I meditate, I don't usually see colors, but that one just kept like,
that's so beautiful,
like pouncing at me, like it was crazy. Wow.
When I first started doing meditations, that's the color that came to me.
Wow.
That color your glasses, like this indigo dark blue would be like that color, or would be like maybe even darker blue, or then like that color again, maybe even almost kind of lighter purple. Like it would just go through that, and that's your third eye. That's your intuition. That they're opening up for you. So I would see that color first, and then I would start to feel like pounding, like throbbing. Not, and it wasn't painful, but I can feel something happening here. I'm like,
Yeah.
something's happening here, and it was bothering me a lot. Like it was like very, very uncomfortable, but I knew something was happening. And I went to some of my energy healer friends, and they're like, yeah, they're opening your third eye. And I'm like, what can y'all do to get this discomfort out of here? Because I don't want it. They're shaking. I'm sure they're shaking off all the nonsense that's on there, trying to get it clean. And the one thing that spirit did tell me, I'm not a doctor, but celery juice.
Okay.
Celery juice. So I did a celery juice cleanse, and it helps tremendously. I promise.
How long did you do it for?
Well, I did my celery juice cleanse for 3 months.
Oh wow. Just celery juice, or just like?
Oh no, you just do it the first thing in the morning. It's the first thing on your stomach in the morning.
Okay.
And you can just eat. So it's the first thing. It's the So I was listening to the medical medium, and it's the first thing you take in the morning, and then I did the heavy metal detox cleanse.
Okay.
30 minutes after. So I wake up in the morning, I do my whole routine, get dressed, whatever, go downstairs, I'll do my celery juice cleanse, and then 30 minutes later, I'll do the, it's all nasty. All of it's disgusting. So it's nasty, it's disgusting, but I promise you, like, it cleans you out, and it helps with this. So I would never think that celery juice would do something like that, but celery juice is really good for, like, if you do feel like dehydrated, if you do feel like you're having headaches, or you're having any issues with your third eye or up here in general, celery juice helps.
Right. I'm gonna do that.
I swear by it. I'm like, girl, get you some celery juice. They be like, I don't want that. And I hated celeries. Like celery, I never ate it.
I have heard that like they got like a lot of benefits. So
it has tremendous benefits. And then I lost a ton of weight. Like I was way bigger than this. I kind of slimmed down very fast. I was breastfeeding. I did that, and the heavy metal detox cleanse, so it does clean you out. So be prepared to go to the bathroom, and you'll lose like weight and everything. But it's very, very helpful. It's gonna get that stuff that's stuck in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, on my way to the grocery store. So, how have like these tools helped you, and how do you like apply them to your daily life?
So, well, yeah, with the lessons, right? With learning lessons, now I can look at every single thing that happens to me as why is this happening to me?
Right.
What is this trying to teach me, or what is it trying to save me from?
Yeah.
Right? But just being grateful of whatever it is.
Yeah.
Again, in the beginning, I would meditate, I would do those things, but one of the first things I started doing was shadow work, because I started to see the reoccurring patterns in my life. At first, I was never, this keeps happening to me, but I didn't I'm not paying attention to it. Now I'm like, oh, this keeps happening to me. And this keeps happening. Let me look at the patterns of what's happening to me around the things that I'm feeling. So if I keep feeling like, if I'm triggered by something, like if I'm triggered by the feeling of being alone, right? Now I need to be like, okay, where are the instances in which I felt alone? Okay, when my mom did this, or when my dad did this, and then my partner, my kid, like whatever, you start looking at them and you start to say like, okay, what is this trying to teach me? What is this trying to teach me? What can I learn about this? Why does this bother me so much? Yeah. And then you start with a series of why questions, like that shadow work, and going deeper into how you can heal that. And once you get to that root cause, which you probably be like, I never even thought that was the root cause.
Right.
I would have never thought in a million years it was because you didn't go to my kindergarten graduation. Right? But that thing that you were holding on to, you look at it as an adult now and be like, oh, well, I know they weren't there for my kindergarten graduation because people had to work. It was kindergarten. It's not that serious. But as a kindergartner, you thought it was like, serious.
Yeah,
so
I didn't come.
Exactly. So you held on to it.
Yeah.
And therefore, now you held on to this feeling of alone, or this feeling of you can't trust anybody, or they're not going to support you. And now you carry it on throughout your life and through your relationships. Right. So the best thing I can tell people is like, you have to look at the patterns that happen into your life. And you have to really dig in deep as to what that root cause is. And that's why I think hypnosis is so important, because it's literally like going to take you straight to it. It's going to take you right there, and your higher self is going to guide you, and it's going to come, lovingly tell you what it is and lovingly tell
Yeah.
you why you're experiencing this, so that when moving forward, when you see it,
Yeah.
you can identify it and you can choose to do something different. And once you break that cycle, I promise you it goes away.
Yes.
It goes away. You'll get new things, don't get me
Right.
wrong.
Yes.
But it goes away. And you're no longer triggered by that feeling anymore. And you're no longer triggered by somebody being like, well, I'm leaving you. And you're like, great, because I need my peace.
Right. Yeah.
You know, that's when you start to feel that. And it's powerful. Like, there's power in that. You're taking your
Yeah.
power back.
Yeah. No, yeah, I've learned that, like, I feel like a lot of times we learned it the hard way. But so many times, like, I've repeated, like, cycles or, like, the same lessons. I'm like, damn, like, why I keep going through this? And then once I did the shadow work and, started to look deeper into, like, my abandonment wounds and, like, how I was raised and, seeing, like, even little stuff like how my dad treated my mom or how my mom operated in some points and what I seen, and then putting like two and two together, like, oh, okay, well, like, the people that I'm attracted to, they're showing me like similar traits, or
yes.
like that feels familiar, those trauma bonds and stuff like that. And then me understanding like this is not healthy, that's not what I want. Just because I was like used to seeing that stuff doesn't mean that that's what I'm supposed to settle with. And then when I knew that, I was like, okay, now I can start my new normal, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, it's taking your power back. It's really important. And another thing that I was thinking about when you were talking is like also understanding that you chose this.
Right. Yeah.
When you really understand that like we're all souls living a human experience to learn certain things, you know that, okay, what are these patterns? Okay, it's giving trauma, right? So now you're like, why would I choose this? Oh, because I need to remember to choose myself.
Yeah.
I need to remember self-love. I need to remember that this is not healthy and, whatever. And now you know that. And then you can be grateful for the people that showed you this, because now you learned that lesson and you learned it, and you can show gratitude.
Yeah, that's big.
Yes.
And like it gives you like a whole different perspective, like understanding and being grateful for like even like the hard times. It's like, yeah, that really hurt me at that time, but it's like now I can see like I needed that hurt to elevate, to evolve, and to get past all that.
Exactly. And knowing that it's not personal, that person did that specifically to you. It's like, no, in fact, in the spirit realm, we signed up for this together, and now, like, we're like really best friends. But here we're enemies. But it's because you helped me to learn this lesson, as I am helping you learn whatever lesson it is too.
Yeah.
So I really like it. Really changes your whole perspective on everything.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So, for someone who is new to healing or exploring their trauma, where would you suggest that they begin?
Shadow work.
Shadow work. Yeah, for
It
sure.
is
I
shadow
agree.
work. It is shadow work.
Yeah.
So, as far as mentally, like, yes, journaling, getting deeper, meditation. And I always say meditation, and everyone says meditation, and that is really important. Meditation is important. But it's really hard for people to meditate when they have so many things on their mind. And I think that when you start to journal, you can start to get those things out, number one. And number two, also, I believe that you should be watching what you consume in your body. So a lot of times when people are holding fear and trauma and guilt and pain and all of these things, it's because their nervous system is dysregulated. So you want to start to regulate your nervous system. Get some lion's mane mushrooms, 7 sacred mushrooms, ashwagandha, different things to start to relieve that anxiety and stress, so that you can sit still.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I think that it's just people cannot sit still. They can't sit still and they don't know why. And it's like your nervous system's all wonky. Like, you got to fix that first. So you could do it simultaneously. Start taking, make sure it's safe and healthy for you, of course, first. And then take what you need to take. Do some type of heavy metal detox cleanse. There's so many things in our brain that we don't even understand that's dysregulating us and not having us able to think clearly, like we're cloudy.
Yeah.
And journaling definitely helps, because then you can start to see like, oh, okay, you're starting to write, and then now you're like, okay, now I can get these thoughts out on paper. Now I can kind of make sense of what I'm trying to say or what I'm thinking about. And then you can start to meditate. And when I start with the meditation, it's like, just start by focusing on breathing, breath. Focus on one thing. Just focus on one thing and sit for 5 minutes first. And then go up to 10 or 6, whatever's easier for you, but do something to start to calm your body. Even breathing differently, right? Like breathing from your belly as opposed to from your chest. If you feel yourself, one thing that I noticed about myself, which I still kind of do, is I stop breathing. I'll be like, and I don't notice it, but my kids are like, why are you making that noise? And I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll be breathing. And it's crazy because I'll be somewhere and I'm doing something and I stop breathing. And then I start breathing again, and it's like, okay, dysregulation in your nervous system. Let's get it back together. Let's start breathing. Let's ground it out. Start meditating and just getting back to yourself so that you can heal those wounds. And that's when you do that shadow work. The shadow work is going deeper. Like, what are the triggers that you're having, and going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper till you finally have root.
No, I think that's definitely for sure. When I first started my healing journey, I used to deal with like bad panic attacks. Like I'm like, what is wrong? I'm like, I just want to be normal. Like just like a regular day, I would start like just feeling like dizzy and stuff, and I wasn't taking care of myself. So I know like my nervous system was like all over the place. I was stressed out, but it was like I started like journaling and stuff, like doing the shadow work, and then but it was like really me taking care of my health too. Like that made like such a difference. Like we really don't understand like the power, like what we eat, like you said, what we're doing, movement, getting outside, like stuff like that, being in the sunlight, it all like helps us.
All of it, especially also what you're watching, what you're listening to, who you're around, who you following.
Oh my God, that is a big thing too. Like I was saying that I'm really into music, so I love me some R&B, but say like we're listening to like Summer Walker and them, they talking about like many this, many that. You know, you think of like, oh damn, like now memories that making you upset are coming up, and you know now you in your feelings, and now you sad, you wondering why, like your mood has changed. You know what I mean, like stuff like that. So I started like being intentional, like in the morning, like what I'm listening to. Like it makes such a difference. And I feel like a lot of us, we don't even understand. Like we're scrolling all day. We just, you know, are just consuming whatever is brought to us, but it's like we just have to be like more intentional if we do want to make that change.
Absolutely. Like, and it's important you said that, because one of the things I say to people is everybody's been under hypnosis. When you're driving your car and you're listening to music, what do you think that is? You're focused on driving, but you're listening to music, so all that stuff is going straight to your brain. It's downloading into your subconscious, it's downloading into your body. Is causing pains within your body, within your mind. You don't even know it. The things that you're watching, all that stuff is going straight to your brain. You watching TV and you're watching a series, right? And then you look at your phone and it was 1 o'clock. You look at your phone, now it's 8 p.m. and the sun is there. You're like, oh man, what happened all that time? You was hypnotized.
Wow.
And now all that stuff that you watch is programmed directly into your being.
Wow.
Like look, and a perfect example is look at the kids, right? When you look at the kids, and I remember, like, so say if my daughter, she watches Bluey, she loves Bluey, right? So say if she's watching Bluey for, you know, a few hours or whatever, like, next thing you know, she's talking like Bluey. You know what I mean? She's like, I'm busting, I have to go to the loo. And you're like, what are you doing? Like, you don't talk like that. But it's because all that stuff is downloading straight into her body, straight into her mind. So much so, like, a lot of times I'll be like, nope, I got her off of YouTube Kids. I got her off of all these things, like especially in the mornings. So when you listen to some people, like a lot of spiritual teachers, when they talk about the subconscious, the best times to listen to like I am phrases to reprogram your subconscious is going to be in the morning, right after you wake up, and it's going to be at night before you go to sleep. If you're listening to Bang Bang Kill 'Em Up music, in the morning, first thing when you wake up, that's going straight into your body. That's going straight into your subconscious. That you're not worth it, or that you think someone's going to come after you, or your family's in danger, or you're in the struggle mode, right? And now you're in fight or flight all day. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you really have to pay attention to what you're listening to. That's what I mean, like when I say consume in any way, shape, or form. Like food. Don't get me started with the food. I'll be here all day. It's so important that we start to just see, like, wait a minute, let's really understand why we're here, what we're putting in our bodies, and why we're acting the way we are, why our kids are so sad. They're sad and they don't know why they're sad. They're overreacting to things that should not be that serious.
Right.
Why is that? You don't think it's because they're listening to sad music all day?
Right.
And they're sad.
No, that makes perfect sense. I feel like we all gotta be like more mindful of.
Absolutely. And it's hard.
Yeah.
I get it.
We're in like a consumer world, so it's just like all of us are just going like with what we see. You know what I mean? But you know, I feel like just planting the seed within us and then our children. I feel like that's where it starts.
Absolutely, it does start. It starts with you, right? Because when you start to do something differently, they're watching you, and then they start to do things differently. And I always explain to my kids like why I'm doing this or why you should do this, and maybe they don't get it now, but they will get it. I try to explain it as best I can to like in kid terms, but it's definitely something that you have to start with yourself. Like when you start your spiritual journey, you want to tell everybody, you want to change everybody. You want to be like, girl, you have to do this and do your shadow work. And it's like you can tell them, you go like, hey, it's a good idea to do it. You plant that seed, but you have to just be willing to walk away and just do your own work, and knowing that the more work you do on yourself, they're going to see it.
That's crazy, because I was like dealing with that like a little while ago. Somebody that was like kind of close to me, like we like talk about different stuff, and I'm like, like, she's like, well, I'm not happy with this and that. And I'm like, well, maybe try this and that or whatever. And so it's like, it just kind of like it wasn't what she wanted to do. You know what I mean? And it's like me just wanting to help her. It was like, all right, well, this will probably help you. Why don't you want to do it? But then me understanding, like, you just like plant the seed, and then when she's ready, then she'll do whatever she needs to do or whatever she feels like she needs to do. It's not up to us to try to force anybody to do anything, and everybody's journey is different, everybody's timing is different. So just understanding that, like, you plant the seed, and when they're ready, it's gonna be good.
When they want that assistance, they're gonna come to you. Hey, what's that thing you was talking about? But like, oh girl, here you go. And
just by working on yourself, like you said, by working on yourself, that really sets like the example for everybody around us, or who we care about, our kids, and so forth. So so shadow work can be difficult for many people. How do you guide your clients through facing their shadows and integrating the lessons they uncover?
So I do have, in my programs, I do have like a shadow work workshop where one of the things we do is I talk about mirrors. And it's really important because mirrors are, in shadow work, when I first started doing shadow work, I mean, everything is a mirror to you, we get it, but no, like literally everything is a mirror to you. So even when there's somebody yelling at you and saying all of these hurtful things to you, if you don't care, and you're like, okay, whatever, you're being a mirror for them. But when they saying something to you and you're listening and you're like, oh, that hurt, or like, why would they say that to me, or because it's something in you that believes that. You believe that about yourself. They're just showing you, they're just bringing it out so that you can see it. Right? So then I also do this exercise where it's like, look at the people that you surround yourself with, look at the people that you love and the people that you dislike. Like, what are the things that you like about them? What are the things that you don't like? And start to see yourself within all of these things. Right? Like the things you don't like, let's focus on those. But the things you do like, those are the things you admire about yourself, or that you're striving, that you had the ability to do, because these are admirable traits that you love. So you're this. Right? But these things, these negative things too, you're this too.
Those triggers.
But we need to go into, why are you so mad about it? And then now we're going into that, we're looking at the things that trigger them the most. and finding the patterns that go around it, the things that are happening in your life that, you know, coincide. And then just really being like, okay, let's find the root. Let's get down to the root. Why does this bother you? Why is that important?
Right.
Why, you know, and keep going deeper and deeper and deeper until we get to that root cause and they crying.
Yeah.
Because they never thought of it. They never thought of it. And I'll give you an example, right? And it's always ugly. It's always ugly. It's not cute. It's not cute. I'll give you an example, but it's, you know, it's not cute. Like, so my uncle had passed from COVID, and he was like a dad to me because my dad wasn't really like in my life that much or whatever. Not like at all. Like not that much, not at all. So, I was like, oh, you know, he passed, and I was so devastated, and my cousins were devastated. And they're like my sisters. Like we used to, you know, I would go with them to their dad house every other weekend or whatever. And when they passed, they were like, when he passed, they were like so devastated. They were like in shambles. Like I'm talking to them on the phone, holding them like, this is okay, you know, it's all right, like it's okay, ugly cry, you know, trying to be there for them and showing that grief. And I was sad too, but I wasn't as sad as they were.
Yeah.
And it bothered me, and I was like, why? Like some feelings of like jealousy was coming up, and it's weird because it's like, why would you be jealous of feeling that pain? But I really thought like, I will never feel this pain of like losing my dad like this. Like my dad wasn't this instrumental in my life where I would ever feel this. So I had went into meditation to find that out, right? And then I was so, you know, I was like, ew, like that's weird. Like who would be jealous of that? I went to meditation, and I was deep into it, going into the shadow work, and I was talking to my higher self showing me images and things. And it was like, you know, yes, your uncle passed, but he was like a dad to you too, right? But then I also started seeing images of other men who came into my life that were father figures to me, my goddad, my stepdad, you know, different people, you know, that came into my life and took the place of my dad. And because of my dad not being in my life, I had 4 great men teach me the things that I needed to learn from a father. And then I could feel that gratitude again for him and for all the men. And then I started to call them like, thank you so much, you know, like, you know, this is out of nowhere for them. They're like, oh, I'm crying. They're crying. I got these grown ass men crying. Sorry.
That's okay.
But like I had them crying because I'm like, you know, I'm really grateful for you being in my life because I didn't have a dad there. And you stepped in, and you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that, but you showed. Some of them taught me how to drive. One of them taught me how to, like, you know, purchase my first home, like different things. It helps me out around my house, like different things that my dad didn't do for me. And I would have never gotten that lesson or never even been able to feel that gratitude, so that loss of my dad, or that jealousy feeling of not having a father that I was so close to, right? And not being able. So I wasn't jealous of being sad. No, I don't want to be sad. I don't want to feel devastated. I don't want to feel the pain of death. But it wanted to bring my attention to the fact that my dad wasn't in my life. But I have all these great, amazing men that were. And my uncle was one of them. And I'm so grateful and honored for him to be in my life. And I wasn't, anytime I see death, right, I have a new outlook on it anyway. So I'm not going to be as like, oh, in the ground, because I know, like, he's just leaving his body. Now he's in spirit form. Now he can move and do whatever he needs to do without restrictions. Like, if anything, you gained an angel. And now I'm like looking at it in a different way, in a different light. But I had to go through that period of being like, this is ugly. I don't like this. You know, when I tell that story, and it's like, you know, people are like, what? That's crazy, girl. And it's like, yeah, well, it's my process. And
it's your truth.
And I'm okay with being vulnerable. I'm a very open book, because my clients and people that come to me, they're vulnerable with me. They're giving me the inside access to everything that's within them, and I'm letting you know, like, it's okay. We all go through these things. We all go through these struggles. We all have these pain points. So it's nothing to be ashamed of.
For sure. And I think the fact that you're able to be vulnerable and just, sometimes the emotions like hit us, we don't know. Like you said, you were feeling like the jealousy, like, damn, why am I feeling like this? You know what I mean? But it's like, just knowing like it's okay to feel those emotions. I feel like so many people get stuck because they don't want to feel those emotions, so
Right.
they like shut down, or they isolate, or whatever it is that they do, just not understanding, like, I don't want to feel like that, but it's like you have to feel those emotions to get down to really what's going on. So
A lot of times we hide our emotions or we hide our feelings, and they're called emotions. It's emotion, energy in motion. Emotions, like you have to carry them through. You have to feel it. So I love when they cry. I'm like, yes, cry, please let it out, because
Yeah.
we're healing with that. We're peeling back onion layers
Yeah.
of this. Like, cry, release it. It's part of your healing process. Talk about it. Let it go. Let get through it, because otherwise it's creating dis-ease in the body.
Yeah.
If you're holding this emotion and it's stuck here, now you wondering why you got thyroid issues, or different things that's happening with your throat. Your body keeps a score. You heard that book, like that. That's what happens. You have these emotional things. You have these events that's happening in your life. The emotion is tied to it. It gets stuck inside your body somewhere, and that's what we're doing. We're releasing it.
Yeah. Wow. So, what advice do you have for someone who is trying to reconnect with their true self but feels blocked or disconnected from their higher purpose?
Get a session.
Period.
That's it. That's what we do. Like the Reiki that I do, the energetic Reiki that I do, it's called raw Reiki, but it's really me bringing in the angels and connecting with source and my higher self to bring in your higher self. Like I said, we're bringing in your higher self, and we're aligning your higher self with you, and removing any stagnant energy, removing any blockages, removing any energies, any entities, anything that's in there that needs to be removed, so that you can start to get more clarity in your life. And then with the hypnosis session, the Reiki is included. So it's the Reiki, and then we go from there, we go deep into the hypnosis. So you get deeper, you go deeper, you're directly connected to your higher self. You know that all these limitations and blockages and energy has been removed, or they're working on removing it, depending on how deep it is. And you start to get clarity. Now, the energetic body is healed before the physical body does, so sometimes you will feel it days later, or weeks later, or months later, depending upon the severity of what's going on with you. But I definitely say start there, and if you can't get a session, I would definitely say, start with doing the shadow work. Like I said, just because when you're going into that energy, you're releasing the energy, you're releasing those emotions, and you can start healing yourself through meditation. Get some books, good books. The Energy Codes by Sue Morton. That's one of the books that helped me to go deeper into my meditation, to start releasing energy from my ankle. I healed my ankle. I healed my ankle myself through meditation.
Nice.
Like it's insert, and like maybe like 3 other parts of my body, like my back, and then my nasal passage, just through doing a series of meditation and shadow work combined.
Oh, wow.
To start to move that energy out of my body. It's all energy. We are all energy. Everything is energy. So you just have to get your energy clear, right, with the shadow work and the writing and the journaling, through the meditation, and then start to ask your spirit team, ask God, your spirit team, the angels, ask them for assistance, ask them to remove the blockages, ask them to align you with your purpose, ask them for signs, ask them, they're waiting for you, they're your team, they're here to help you,
here to support.
A lot of times people think like, oh, but they should just be out here helping me, but the thing is, we have free will, so we have to ask, like, if they aren't, like, if you're not asking for something, how are they supposed to know? You may want to continue to struggle so you can learn more. They don't know. Like, you're like, listen, that's on you. I'm here, and they'll give you signs like 444. Right. And you're like, what does that mean? And you're like, but they'll giving you signs, but just ask and go into meditation so that you can listen. That's the thing. It's like, prayer works, yes, right? Because we're praying, we're asking for something, but then you're not going into meditation so that you can listen for the answer. So you got to do both. With gratitude as well, so gratitude in both ways, so that you can bring in the answers and the purpose for you.
I think that's important for everybody to know. So y'all heard it. That's where y'all start. All right. So how do you help clients face the fear or resistance that often comes with confronting deeply buried trauma or past life wounds?
Well, your higher self never shows you anything you're not ready to see, right? But understanding that deep buried thing that you think that you don't want to face you're already facing it, because it's driving you every single day to make the decisions that you make, and it's putting you in your life. The life that you're living right now is based off that deep rooted fear that you're stuck in.
Right.
So if you want to change your life, you have to start there. It's like when you go to a doctor and you're like, I have diabetes, and it's like, okay, they'll give you medicine. They're not curing it, but they're just giving you medicine to keep it. But then now you got this medicine, now you got all these other issues.
Right.
And you're going to keep having issues, and now it's going to get worse, and now you still, no matter what you do, it's never getting better. It's because you got to go to that root cause of why it's there. You have to heal the root cause in order to get rid of the disease, the dis-ease. You have to. So you have to go into your subconscious. You have to get to that deep root in order to heal. So it's like sometimes we'll go into a session and maybe they're like, oh no, I don't want to do this. I don't know if I want to do this. And I'm like, listen. You know, sometimes I break the fourth wall and I go, listen. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. If you're scared, you want to go back, you can go back. But you said you wanted to change your life.
Yeah.
They're not going to show you nothing that you're not ready to see, and you're protected. They with you. I'm here.
Yeah.
They're here. Your higher self is here. God is here. We're not going to let nothing happen to you.
Right.
So we're here. We're already at the door. Let's go in.
Right. Might as well.
Let's do it. You ready to change your life, right? You know, and then we'll go through it, and we'll get through that. Depending on whatever the situation is. If you're not ready to do it, that's fine. We can walk you back. But normally when I talk to them and I'm like, you wanted to change. Yeah. And whether you want to do this now or not, it's affecting your life.
Right.
So
it's like, we're here. So
we're here. You might as well do it. We
at
had the door right there.
Might as well go all the way.
You want abundance or you want lack? Like, let's go.
Right.
Like, if you want to get to the dream life that you desire, you have to heal those root wounds so that you can live it.
Yeah.
You came to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I ain't busting on your door.
Right.
But I want your healing just as much as you, but you have to want it too. You have to be willing to do the work.
Yeah. And sometimes healing can be scary, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like getting through that. But it's like, I feel like so many people are afraid of the unknown. But just understanding once you get through that, it's like, wow, I should have been did this. You know what I mean? Like, it really wasn't that bad, but it's just because we never been there, we haven't seen it. It's like, okay, we're scared, but it's like, no, like, just go for it. That's something, like, I used to, like, hold off from doing certain stuff, like, damn, I'm scared or I'm not ready or whatever. But then it's like, once I did it, it's like, wow, like, I was holding myself back this whole time. I should have did this. It's just like, just letting go. And like you said, we're protected by our spirit teams, and, you know, like, allowing them to protect us and just flow and do what we need to do to get to our next level.
Exactly. Like, people that experience fear emphasize protection. Emphasize, like, you know, protecting yourself, asking for protection, setting that intention every day and every night. But then also knowing that if you know you're protected and you know that God, source, the divine, God in your life, what are you afraid of?
Right.
Because everything they put in front of you and everything that you're going to experience is something that you're going to learn from or grow from, or both.
Right. No, yeah.
So they got your back. They're not going to let that happen to you. That's not supposed to happen to you.
Right.
And whatever's going to happen to you, you're going to get something from it. And it's like when you hear those 9/11 people from 9/11, right? Like when they talk about the survivors, like the people that were late that day because their kid wouldn't put their shoes on.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you're so mad at your kid for not putting their shoes on and taking their time, and now you're late, and it saved your life.
Right.
Everything happens for a reason. So you have to understand and be grateful for all those moments. Like if I come out and I'm driving and then there's like some old lady across the street taking a long time and then she passes and then I go, to the next light, and now there's a truck here and it's taking forever to get. I know that they are stopping me from going somewhere else.
Yes.
So I'm be like, okay, I'm gonna just take a deep breath and be like, all right, thank you, Spirit.
Yeah.
Because I know that you're stopping me from something.
Yes. And that is so important. Like, just understand that. And I feel like it helps us navigate through life better.
Yes.
Like, when you realize that, sometimes I feel like I can get away from it sometimes, you know, just being so caught up in life and this and that. But it's like, when I'm able to remind myself, like, all of this is for a reason. This is happening for
That's
me.
what it is.
It's like, it's all for a reason.
Yeah,
So.
it's a practice, being able to have to be being conscious of, in this moment, what's happening. Like, in this moment, being grateful for the experience, or in this moment, knowing that there's a message for you or a lesson for you.
Yeah.
It's a practice. Yeah, I'm not gonna say you're gonna watch this and then you're gonna go out and then you go, you know, get into a fender bender and you're like, that's okay. This is supposed to happen. This is my divine purpose. No, you're gonna be like, what the, you know, why did this happen to me? And that's fine. That's fine. That's okay, because it's a practice. So now that happens to you, right? But maybe now you stop and you take a breath and you're like, okay, you know, this could be saving me from something. This could be, even if you're late for a job interview and it's like, but if you would have took that job, then that building exploded and you would have been going in 6 months. You don't know what your spirit team is saving you from. So just be grateful, like, okay, this is a little fender bender, I'm alive, or we're all good, or whatever it is. And knowing that there's something in it for you, even if you're injured, right? Because I'm saying everyone walks away and they're like healthy, but sometimes you're injured, and it's because God needs you to sit down. Sit down. So that you can start to look into yourself. Like, all these people had this spiritual awakening in 2020. Why? Because they had nothing else to do.
They had to get with
God
themselves
sat everybody
and their
down
mind.
and said, nope, everybody sit. Get your health together. Right? And it was like, you know, that you started losing people. So people who volunteered to go in those moments in time, of course it was sad and we didn't understand it, but they left because they're showing you something. They're showing you life is important. They're showing you that you don't have all the time in the world. Get out and do your purpose. What are you doing? You're getting distracted. Do it. Get to work. You don't have that much time. People are going, and now it's like, or you see how important health is. So now people are getting into health. Now people are grounding. People are going out in nature, and you're starting to see, oh, I don't like this job anymore. They're like, people didn't want to go back to work because they were like, wait, this is stupid. Why am I here? People started to awaken to the truth because they sat down. And a lot of times when anyone's going through stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, God just wants you to sit down. And I'm not, you know, it happens to me too. God be sitting me right down. We'll take my car and be like, you're going nowhere. Sit here. You're not going there today.
No, for sure. So in your experience, how can people continue healing? How can people continue healing the healing work after a hypnosis session? And are there daily practices or mindsets that they can adopt?
Of course. After a healing session, I offer them, you know, an integration call to start to put in what they learned from their higher self, what they learned from their experiences into their daily lives, which your higher self will do anyway, will tell you what to do and give you answers to whatever questions you have. But then also being like, they'll give you your dreams. Now you're looking at your dreams differently because they're not just dreams. There's something, there's messages, there's things in it that you need to look into. I tell them about the different things that they need to do as far as journaling. You need to be journaling every day, especially, you know, as much as you can. You need to focus on what you're eating and what you're putting into your body. And also the protections, doing your protections every day and every night. And it's important because you want to just set that intentions, and intentions are everything. The power of intention is powerful, and you need to set that intention. That's what everything is about, is intention. So it's like, if I'm setting an intention that I'm going to have a great day, then that's the day I'm going to have.
That's true.
But you have to set the intention, believe it, see it, feel it, everything, to experience it. And that's why I'm like, when you wake up in the morning, you set that intention. Like, and with those intentions is my protections, like, you know, God protect me from this, protect my family, whatever, like, make sure you're setting that. So I make sure I give my my clients, like, different protections that they can use, like angelic protections. And that's really important because it also, it's not just protecting you, but it's also keeping you aligned with your higher self, so that knowing that any guidance that you're getting, you can hear, and that you can start making those decisions based off of love and not fear.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we make decisions off love and fear. Off fear, and not love.
Yeah.
Because we're scared of what's going to happen if I don't do this.
Right.
As opposed to, I want to do this because I want to. Because I love this.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's helpful, because it's going to benefit me in some way, not because I'm fearful of what will happen if I don't do it.
Right.
So, of course, affirmations are really good, but powerful, and doing the affirmations, but with intention and with gratitude and with emotion tied to it. So a lot of times people just say, I am strong, and you're like, okay, and they wonder why they're not getting stronger. I've been saying it for 2 years and I'm weak, and it's like, yeah, well, how are you saying it? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I am strong, and I am grateful that I'm strong, because now I can lift my daughter every day before she goes to school, and I can swing her around, and I love to see her happy. You see, now I'm talking about it and I'm bringing an emotion to it. Now I can see myself swinging my daughter around, and that's how you seal intentions with vision. You seal everything that you want with a vision. You have to see it. So when I say you have to see it, you have to feel it.
Yeah.
You have to know it. You have to trust it, and then that's when it comes. So knowing that as you're doing this work, struggles are going to happen and things are going to happen, because it's aligning you to the path that you're supposed to be on.
Right.
And it may not feel good. It's not going to feel good sometimes.
Yeah.
But knowing that once you come out of it, you're going to look back and be like, oh, I was doing that. I was with that person.
Right.
Ew, why would I even do that? Like, this is what I was doing. And it looks different now. And you think that was a sacrifice, and it wasn't.
Right.
It was not. So you needed that to grow, and you needed that to become your next higher self, and that another person will come and be, another friend or spouse or partner will come, and they'll be everything you ever wanted, but you couldn't have gotten there because you keeping this person around.
And if you didn't go through that with them, you probably wouldn't be able to see like all the benefits that this next person has and so forth. So that's so
exactly true. So just knowing that you start this work, and then you start to align, and you may lose things, but better things are coming.
Always, yes. I love that. So for somebody dealing with trauma from current or past life, how can they begin to shift their mindset and start the healing process on their own?
Girl, shadow work. Our shadow work is my answer for everything.
Yeah. Shadow work, y'all heard it.
Because once you start to understand why something was happening to you, and then you get to the root cause of what it was teaching you, or why you were there, or what was going on. Again, like I said, then you can start to practice gratitude for that person being in your life and giving you that lesson, because without it, you wouldn't be a healer, or you wouldn't be a teacher, or you wouldn't have been able to show your kids as much love and compassion. You wouldn't be the mom or dad that you are today without that experience.
Yeah.
Right? Without them showing you what not to do, you knew what to do, and you can show them grace because they had their own human experience, and they went through their own thing that shaped and molded them to what they were. So they were in pain too. So you can not only be like grateful for the experience, but also show compassion and empathy for them going through what they went through.
Yeah.
And once you start with all of those things, those triggers and those things that you were holding on to that felt so big to you are no longer big to you. They're no longer, you can now tell the story without crying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now I can say this and I don't have to cry, or I can say this and I can feel a different feeling from it. I'm not sad or angry anymore. I'm more so grateful. I'm more so happy that it happened, because now I have my own business doing da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
You know, and now I'm helping millions of people doing this, as opposed to, you know, my one little pain helped me save thousands or millions of people from experiencing that pain. So be grateful that that was part of your assignment. That was your assignment, and now you can look at it and be like, all right, I'm gonna do the shadow work, I'm gonna do this, and now I'm gonna grow from it, and I'm grateful for the experience. And that's how you start to get through that trauma. That's how you start to understand that it was necessary, but you also have to understand that it's part of your purpose, and something's coming from it. And even if you don't know what it, I say this to people, It always works out in the end.
Always.
Think about it. Anytime you're in something and you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of it, you always get out of it. And if you're going through something and you're like, well, it's not working, well, then it's not the end. It always works out in the end.
Yeah.
And if it ain't working, then it ain't the end. So keep going.
Yeah. So, what impact have you seen when clients release long-held trauma through your work?
What? Say that again. What issues?
What impact have you seen, or like what changes when they release like the long-held trauma?
I can tell in just how they're talking, and how they're talking about people, how they're coming to the call, where you can see like, well, this is happening in my life and that's happening in my life, but that's okay because I'm here and I'm grateful, and them really believing it. You know, it's a shift, and you can see it, and then they tell you about different experiences they had or the synchronicities that are coming into their life, and it's so important, and it's so amazing to see, because God works. The things that God does is so crazy, guys. It's like when you're watching something, you're seeing the synchronicities of how things play out, and you're like, how did, like, you were from California and you're from, Philadelphia, and y'all somehow met at a store in Kansas, and but his grandma lives around the corner from your grandma, so when y'all went to, y'all saw them, and like, it's like y'all were in the same places at the same time, and somehow y'all got together, and you start to see those synchronicities because God be working, and all that stuff be coming together, and I hear their stories, and I'm just like, wow, like, because you are aligning with your higher self, you can stay on path, you can stay on your purpose, and you start to get those things that you wanted in your life, that you called into your life. And I love to watch that. So those are the most impactful things, just seeing them transform before my eyes.
I love that. All right, so how can healing past life regression help someone who feels stuck in their current life, whether in relationships, career, or self-growth?
Well, understanding that if you come to a session with an intention to find something out, you'll find it out. And a lot of times with the things that we're going through, it's not something that we've experienced just in this life. It's something that we've experienced in multiple lives, because we weren't able to get that lesson. We weren't able to understand why it was there, so therefore we were like, why is it happening to me? And then it continued to happen to you over and over again, because you're not getting the lesson. Remember, you set it up. You wanted to learn forgiveness. But because you never forgave anybody, you kept experiencing it until you understand that you need to forgive. So it's going to keep happening to you. So understanding that your past life, looking at that, you start to see the patterns, and once you can see the patterns form, you can understand that, all right, now I understand why I don't like this sort of thing. Now I understand why I don't like circuses, like, because something happened at the circus, or blah, blah, blah. And knowing that when you look back at it and you see why you were there and how it affected your life, you can now take control back and be like, okay, no, I'm not really scared of it. Like, I was scared of what happened to me there, but I understand now why that needed to take place, and now I can look at it different. I can release that. I could bring love and healing into my life, and now I can go to the circus and without a problem. So past life regressions are really important, because we're not just dealing with this life, we're dealing with your energetic field of everything you've ever experienced in life in general. So whether it be this life, whether it be this planet, like, we've gone to the spirit realms, we've gone to so many different places that you'll be blown away by the things that you're seeing, because it's not what's in the history books all the time. And how you know it's real is because I may do a session on you, and you're explaining what Atlantis looks like, right? Things that you've never heard or seen of in a book. And then I'll talk to this person, and they'll say the exact same way. And I didn't post it or put it up there, and they're saying it and explaining it to me the exact same way. Maybe I'll do another person, and they're explaining to me from a different angle, but it correlates. It looks exactly the same way. There's a center that has a circle, and this, and it's made of stone, and then you're telling me this part of it, and they're telling me that part of it, and now I'm getting a full picture of what Atlantis looks like.
Yeah.
But it's not in the history books.
Right.
And now I have to say that there's something to this.
Yep.
And then you got to say, like, well, if this is something to this and they're hiding this from me, what else are they hiding?
Right. Yeah. It's all deeper.
And now you start to question your life and the things that they're giving you and the things that they're saying, and that's when you start to control. You unlearn to relearn. You unlearn to relearn, and then that's when you find yourself.
It's crazy because when we were doing the session, there was like a part where it was something was like telling me like there at some point like maybe like something like happened to me, but like I didn't really get like a clear thing of like what that was. But I know I just got like the message like, but I'm okay now. You know what I mean? And I just felt like that was like, wow, like when we went into that, like that was something that I really needed to know. Like maybe there was some answer I was looking for that I'm not really sure, you know, what it was, but something that was, you know, just kind of lingering there. And it was like, no, yeah, this is that.
But you're okay. It was like,
Yeah.
we can't go through it now. It's not,
Right,
so,
like you're good.
Yeah, the event she's talking about, Celestial Connections, where I do like a mini like service. So you're not going to be able to get everything because you don't have enough time to go into it, but you'll get a little mini version of it. So when you go into a full session, that's when we can explore it deeper. They're like, so you went through this, but you're okay now.
Yeah, I'm getting my full session because I need to dig deeper into that. Okay, so is there anything that you personally like struggle with mentally or like with your self-development?
That is a loaded question too, because as healers we still are healing. And it's funny because I say everything's a mirror to you, so a lot of times the clients that's coming to me, they're like, I'm dealing with self-doubt, and I'm like, oh,
Me too,
girl. Can we talk? Like, you know, like it's, but that's why I said, like, Eden, you go in a session and remember, it's not me talking, it's the higher self coming through, it's your higher self coming through, and then we go into session and we get these answers, and just as you're growing from it, I am growing from it. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, but yes, the things that I struggle with or have struggled with, because I don't struggle with anymore, was self-doubt, right? Being like, is this real? After every session, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I seen what was going on with you and this and that. And I'm like, is this real? This is crazy. I can't believe, I say this every time, I can't believe this is real.
Right.
And I do it, you know? And it's like, so I understand the being like, I don't know about this. And it's like, yeah, I felt the same way, but I've seen so much. I've seen visions. I've seen even in my dreams and in real life and through sessions, through everything, and it's real. And you're just like, I'm just in awe of it all, of the whole experience. But yes, doubt is one of the things that I think most people face, especially in the beginning when you're starting your purpose and you're like, why would they listen to me? Why are they gonna come to me? They're not gonna come to me. Why would they do that? And it's like, why wouldn't they?
Right.
And you have a hard time seeing who you are.
Right.
So it took me a while. That one took me a while, and then because you feel that self-doubt, then you don't want to stand out. You don't want to come out. You don't want to do that because you're like, I don't want to be seen, you know? And then it almost gives you that fear of success or that fear of failure because you don't want to be seen. You don't want to do it. You don't want to fail because you don't trust yourself. So it's trusting, the self-doubt. Those are the biggest things that I had to struggle with, that I had to work through a lot. The one that I'm still struggling with is being selfish, right? You always hear like, well, self-love, because you always hear like selfishness is like bad, right? And that was one of the things I had to work on through shadow work in the very beginning. Was the very thing was selfishness. Like if somebody was selfish, oh my God, it triggered me so bad because I'm so compassionate and I'm so giving. How could you ever just put yourself first and do all that? It's horrible. Make sure everyone else eats and you eat last, you know?
Right.
And then I went through it and it was like, oh, wait. You should be taking care of yourself first so that you can take care of everyone. If you want to take care of everyone else, you got to take care of yourself first because otherwise how you going to do it? I'm giving, and then I starve and pass out. how they gonna eat tomorrow?
Right.
I have to take care of myself, and I have to feed myself first, and then I have to give to other people. And I think as a mother, as a woman, as a mother, as a nurturer, it's hard for us to put ourselves first.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I'm still learning is to put myself first. So that's the thing. I will give. And then sometimes I have to stop and be like, all right, let me take a second, because I need to rest, and I need to give myself that rest.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I'm continuously working on. I probably will always work on is remembering to put especially when you're in healing work and you're in a line of service.
Yeah.
We want to do for others, but we also have to take that time to fill our cup.
Yeah. Can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
That's facts. And just understanding, like, we are not, like, I feel like just knowing, like, just because we are healers doesn't mean we're responsible for healing everyone. I feel like we take on that, you know what I mean? Like, as soon as we see someone might need our help, or, you know, whatever it is, like, we automatically want to do it.
Them.
Yeah, but it's like
almost to our detriment.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes we, you know, like you said, to our detriment, and we'll put ourselves in, like, unhealthy situations, or, you know, put ourselves last, and it's like, dang, now we're drained, or, you know, now we're not good because we can't help everybody.
Yeah. And what's that one of the things like that women do a lot? They take on a man that has all these problems. You're like, I can change him.
No.
Like, girl, you will drag yourself through the mud, flip over and over. Like, you would be dirty and gone and ripped up and everything, as he is okay. You're lifting him up and you're in the mud.
Yep.
That doesn't make sense.
That's something I had to learn. Like, it's not,
Yeah,
I think heal everybody, and it's not our responsibility to.
Exactly. You gotta heal you gotta put yourself first. You gotta heal yourself first, and then if they are willing to heal, then you can help them. But you cannot make them heal.
Yeah.
You can say, hey, you can do this, and if they don't do it, then that's on you to be like, do I want to be with someone who's not willing to put in the work to work on themselves? Because then that means they're solely looking at you to make them feel better about themselves. How's that going to take from you? So you have to kind of put yourself first to be like, all right, let me put my boundaries up and be strong enough to know when it's time to walk away for yourself.
Yeah.
So yes, putting yourself first is a very big thing that I think that, like, a lot of women struggle with.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of people in general maybe, but I know I work with women, so
yeah. So how do you help your clients embody their highest potential?
By helping them see who they are. You're not this body, you're not this mind. Like, you are deeper than that. You are this infinite being with all these amazing gifts and abilities. And I'm always like, I'm so excited to go under to see who you really are.
Yeah.
To see what you can really do. Because we are so powerful. Like, there's people that are create universes like that, and you're like a person that you have these gifts and abilities. You can help people cross over that are stuck here on earth. Like, there's so many different beautiful gifts that you have. Energy healing, like love, just the power of love, just the power of being able to listen to someone or talk with someone, and you can heal and raise your vibration in like 700,000 others just by raising your own, like just by being who you are. That's your gift. Like, understanding how powerful you are in this moment. Like, you don't have to do nothing else, like, and you already did your purpose. Like that, and understanding and let people know that first, regardless of whether you do a session with me or not, or whatever. Like, understanding that you're powerful. And to tap into that, find out who you really are. You know, however you need to start. You can start with astrology, looking at your charts, your birth charts. You can start with your human design. You can start with whatever, and starting to see, kind of getting a picture of who you are, and then going in meditation and finding out, you know, exactly who you are. Looking at your dreams and journaling them, and seeing the dreams that you see yourself in different dreams. Like, those are different timelines. Those are different things that you may have done. Like, those could be past lives. And remembering those experiences and shaping who you are, and of course, when you go into a session, you get your purpose and you get the things that you're supposed to be doing and who's supposed to be with you, and who you truly are. You can feel it through your higher self. You can feel it. I don't have to tell you. You'll know it.
You'll know for sure. So, how do you feel like you have evolved over the years?
If you know me, like, I was a partier, like on tables, dancing, crazy, drinking all the time. I was a lot of fun. But I now see so I went from being very destructive as far as my body, as far as other people, as far as relationships, like my relationships and stuff. But now I'm very intentional about what I do. I'm very intentional about what I put in my body. I'm very intentional about my children and what they put in their body. I am more filled with love and compassion. And I was filled with compassion before, but now it's on a different level, where now I'm healing people, and I have these amazing gifts and abilities that people can feel, and people are healed by them, and can, like, will see me and just start crying and like, oh my God, it's like I just be like, what's wrong? And they break down, and I'm like, I'm just asking you what's wrong. Right. But because you can feel the love, like, I care. Yeah. Right. And I mean, I cared before, but I feel like I've grown and I've intensified in that. And I know, and I want to say to this, like, of course, in the beginning, I was drinking, and it was a lot of fun, but inside, I didn't feel like I was anything. Yeah. And I felt like I had to drink in order to be able to step out of my comfort zone and step out and do the things that I was doing, when in all actuality I never needed it. Yeah. And I had to look into that part too, of being like, well, why am I so reliant on this? And it's because I wasn't confident in myself. So now I can go out and I don't party, I don't see the need to, but I could be out and I could be silly and I could do the things and I could be funny and I could be fun, and I'm confident in myself. That I can have fun anywhere I go. I don't need liquor. I don't need any of that stuff. Yeah. And that's the difference. Before, you're reliant on everyone else making you happy and everything else making you happy, and them always letting you down, and things always making you sick, and to now being healthy, and to now feeling better, and to being happy, truly happy, and to experiencing and feeling this feeling of love that I've never felt before. And it's so much. Just understanding, like, unconditional love. And I think that it's hard. I've never experienced that before, and I've never felt, only for my children in the beginning, but now it's like I can feel that for others that are not my children. And even with your partner, like, with your partner, you're like, oh, I love him, I unconditional love him, but then when he do something bad, you're like, get out, you are done. Right. But of course, it's like, if he's doing something wrong, you're like, I have to set that boundary. Yeah. Because I love myself too much for you to keep doing this to me. Right. But I also still love you. And I still want the best for you. And I still want you to grow and do that, and not holding that animosity, because anger, that only hurts you. It don't hurt them. Yep. Yeah. It only hurts you. So I've learned a lot. And I'm grateful for all the things that I've been through, because it's brought me to this moment in which I'm able to help others heal. Yeah. So that's important. I'm happy about that. I love that. Yeah.
All right. So what is some advice that you would give to somebody who is struggling mentally, or somebody who is not fine on the inside?
If I feel like you're struggling mentally, one of the first things I would say is, again, I think your nervous system is probably off. And I would want you to think about what you're putting in your body, because it's not helping you, it's making you feel worse. Start to look at like ashwagandha, because that helps with anxiety, different other things that your nervous system can help function and regulate. And also, and maybe if you don't have the money, you don't want to do that, or you're scared of what that is, then it's breathing. There's these breathing techniques. You have the nadi shona, the alternate nostril breathing, that helps with regulating and balancing your body and your homeostasis and your nerves. And once you start to breathe, and I know you think like you're like breathing, what's that going to do? But it actually does help to bring clarity to you, to calm you down. and to understand and know that you're not the only one going through this. We all are. We are all here together, and you have a support system. There's so many beings that, you know, that you can see and cannot see that are here supporting you, and that you just need to trust in the divine process and trust that you're going through this to learn something. Journal it out, ask for help, talk to the people around you. When I was at my lowest points, I was so low that I just was like, I'll talk to anybody who listens. I don't care who are you at the bus stop, right? Like, my boyfriend, he's doing the worst, da 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 da, you know. And you'd be surprised, the people that you talk to, certain people, they will give you insight and make you think of it in a totally different way. And I'm grateful for some of the people that I talked to during those times of trauma, where they're not like, girl, da da da, but it's also like, well, what did you do that you know, made him feel like that? Or what did you do? What was your part in it? That bringing that accountability to yourself is important, because you need to see what are you doing to put yourself in a situation. And if you say nothing, you need to look at it again.
Yeah.
Because you did something, whether you allowed it, whether you were letting it even affect you, whether you were just there, whether you didn't walk away from it, whether you did, it's something there that you can control. There's something you can control, even if it's just, I had to go to my room by myself, close the door, and just meditate and breathe.
Yeah.
And understand that you're there for a reason, and something is going to come out of it, whether that be, it may not be immediately coming out of it, but it's part of your story. Write a story.
Right.
Make some money off of this experience, you know, like there's so much there that you can do with it. It's just about how you look at it.
Right.
It's your perspective of it.
Perspective.
And a lot of times I tell people this too, and it's like, if you had your problem, I know they're bad, I know you're going through a lot, I do. And you had your problems, and you went and we brought out like 20 people and put our problems in a circle, and you heard their stories, you take yours right back. Like, I'm just going to go ahead and take my little money this year. You know, you're going to take your stuff back, because we're all going through something, and everybody is. And just showing and knowing that everybody's going through something, showing that kindness to them that you would want to see. Yeah. Because it's real out here, and we're here to help each other. And if you are really, really struggling really bad, please reach out to somebody. Reach out to one of these spiritual leaders or healers, or find on the inside somebody that can help you see you through the situation, because there is a way out. You just have to find it.
That's it. Nice. Well, thank you so much, Anya, for coming. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit up Anya for a session. I'm telling y'all, it's a game changer, y'all. Y'all will go out of there feeling like, damn, I'm a new person.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But yeah, I'm so grateful that you came on today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
No problem. And I'm definitely, coming back for some more sessions and everything. So.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
So make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you guys grab your Find on the Inside journals, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.